Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, Learning Spanish with Kushbu. If you have not already done so, please subscribe to my channel and don't forget to like my video. The new topic for today's class is how to conjugate AR, ER, IR verbs in the present indicative tense in Spanish and how to make sentences with them. So you may want to collect your notebook and a pen so that you can write down your notes. The notes are going to be very easy and simple to understand. So let's go ahead and let's begin with the AR verbs first. You might want to write in your notebook AR verbs. So the title says here how to conjugate AR ending verbs. So it says when we conjugate an AR verb, we omit the AR of a verb and put the following endings. So these are the subject pronouns which obviously you have learned from my other videos. The subject pronoun yo means I, tú means you informal, él means he, ella, she, usted means you formal, nosotros means we, vosotros means you all, ellos means they masculine, ellas means they feminine, and ustedes means you all formal. Now, what does it mean in the second column when it says endings for AR ending verbs? In Spanish, we have lots of conjugations. For each verb, we have different forms. So when we know the endings, we can easily conjugate the verbs. Now, it says here that the first person for yo, the ending for AR verbs is O. That means we omit the AR of a verb and write an O. For tú, we will write an AS. For él, ella, usted, we write an A. For nosotros, we will write AMOS. For vosotros, we will write AIS, and we won't forget the accent. Then finally, for ellos, ellas, ustedes, we will write AN. Now you might be thinking that what is this? It's not kind of confusing. Well, don't worry. When we go to the next screen, you will understand what I'm talking about. Basically, what happens is if we have a verb, for example, let's say we have the verb hablar. All we do is we omit the AR of that hablar and then, we will write the conjugation. Now here you can easily see hablar means to speak. Hablar is an AR verb. I have put it in green font so you can see it clearly. Because hablar has an AR ending, that means it will follow the AR endings of the verb AR. And these endings we just learned earlier. So let's say if we want to conjugate, let's see how we will conjugate. Keep writing in your notebook. Now, conjugation of AR verbs such as hablar, to speak. So it says now we can use the previous endings of AR ending verbs and conjugate the verb hablar. Now what does hablar mean? It means to speak. I have written my subject pronouns on the left hand column. Then I've written the complete conjugation of verb hablar, to speak. Now what we do first is we write HABL first when we conjugate this verb. I'm doing this for yo form, which means I. Then I will omit the AR and I will write O. I have underlined the ending O. I have underlined all the endings in green and I have underlined them. Put them on green font and underline them. Yo hablo will mean I speak. Then for tú, if you remember, if you've written in your notebook, the ending was AS. So I write HABL. As soon as I see the AR, I will omit the AR and I will write an AS. That's very important. You have to omit the last two letters. Otherwise, the whole conjugation will be wrong. For él, ella, usted, it will be habla. He speaks, she speaks, you speak formal. You can clearly see that in the red hand column, I have written all the translation in red. You may want to copy this as well. It will be very easy and helpful for you. You can even pause the video and copy the notes. Whatever you are comfortable with, please do. Then nosotros, the conjugation will be hablamos. Now you can clearly see that the ending I have underlined and put in green is amos. That is because this is the ending we have for nosotros, for AR verbs, right? So nosotros hablamos, we speak. Vosotros habláis, you all speak. Ellos, ellas, ustedes hablan, they speak masculine, they speak feminine, you all speak formal. So these are the endings for AR verbs, which is quite simple. Now we might want to, understand other AR verbs. So here is a complete list. Please keep writing, keep taking your notes. Now it says más verbos de AR, more AR ending verbs. You may want to pause the video and write down the meanings of all these verbs which are on the screen. For example, trabajar means to work, cotillar to gossip, salvar to save a person, caminar to walk, cantar to sing, mandar to order or to send, ganar to win or to earn, nadar to swim, charlar to chat, grabar to record, andar to walk, comprar to buy, chismear to gossip, patinar to skate, dibujar to draw. Now these are known as regular AR verbs. Okay, you might want to write all these meanings. Obviously, there are a lot more verbs which end in AR in Spanish, but these are selected ones which can help you make sentences. Now, below is another example for conjugations of AR verbs. Let's have a look at them. For example, the verb trabajar, which means to work, how will we conjugate it? We will omit the AR and write the appropriate endings, just like we did when we conjugated the verb hablar. Here you can see is the table of verb trabajar conjugation. Again, you can see that I have omitted the AR ending and I have written all the endings in green and I have underlined them. Plus, the translation is also written for you on the right-hand column, third last column in red. Please do not hesitate to copy all the notes. Now, the first one I have done is yo trabajo, so I will write Trabaj. As soon as I see the AR, I will omit it and I will write what? O, because O was the ending for yo. So I will write yo trabajo, I work, tú trabajas, you work, él, ella, usted trabaja, he works, she works, you work, nosotros trabajamos, we work, vosotros trabajáis, you all work, ellos, ellas, ustedes trabajan, they work, masculine, they work, feminine, and you all work, formal. So this is the conjugation of verb trabajar. We have done verb hablar and trabajar conjugations together. You can take some time, pause the video, and write the conjugations for these verbs. Or you can do this exercise once you finish watching the whole video. Now we will move on to another after this, which are ER ending verbs. Okay, make sure you write this. But here is a small exercise for you to attempt for ER verbs. So you may want to pause the video and then you can correct your answers. So question 1 says fill in the blanks with the correct conjugation of the verb. As you can see, all these verbs in the bracket are AR ending. So what does hablar mean? It means to speak. Then we did trabajar as well. What does it mean? To work. Cantar means to sing. Chismear means to gossip. Llorar means to cry. Charlar means to chat. Nadar means to swim. Mandar means to command or to send. Comprar means to buy. Caminar means to walk. Okay, some of these verbs I've already given in the list earlier in this video. and some are new. So you can write their meanings. Then question 2 says conjugate the following AR ending verbs amar, which means to love, and enseñar, which means to teach. So please take some time and do this exercise. Pause the video and attempt it, and then we can check the answers. Now here are the answers. So please do correct your work. So the first one is tú hablas muy bien el español. So the subject pronoun is tú. The AR ending for tú is AS. So that's why we will write hablas. You speak Spanish very well. Ana trabaja en un hospital. Okay, so now you might be thinking that why is it trabaja? I mean, we don't have any subject pronoun ana. We have yo, tú, él, ella, usted, nosotros, vosotros, and ellos, ellas, ustedes. So from where did this ana come from? Well, that's okay. Ana is a girl's name. It is a she, Elia, right? Elia means she. So therefore, we will use the el Elia conjugation of trabajar here, which will be trabaja. Means that we will omit the AR and we will write an A. Ana works in a hospital. María y Antonia cantan en la casa. Now, from where did this come? Well, María y Antonia means Maria and Antonia. That means that it is they, right? They in Spanish is ellos and ellas. Therefore, we will use the last conjugation, which is of an ending. So we will cut the AR of cantar and we will write an. Maria and Antonia sing in the home. Elia chismea en la escuela. She gossips in the school. Los niños lloran en la casa. The children cry in the house. Los estudiantes charlan en la clase. The students chat in the class. Again here, los estudiantes would be considered a plural because it is they, the students. So we will follow the last conjugation, the ellos ellas conjugation for this. La gente. Now la gente means the people. The people in Spanish is always considered third person singular. Whereas, however, if we have something like las personas, which means the people as well, that would be taken as a third person plural. So anyway, we go back to this. La gente nada en la playa. The people swim in the beach. Ustedes mandan una carta. You all send a letter. Nosotros compramos la ropa en la tienda. We buy the clothes in the shop. Yo camino en el parque. I walk in the park. Okay, so these are the conjugations. Okay, and here on the right hand side, we have done a table with the conjugations of verb amar and enseñar. Amar means to love, enseñar means to teach. Okay, all you do is you will cut the AR of both these verbs and write the endings of AR endings. Okay, so it will be yo amo, I love, tú amas, you love, él, ella, usted ama, he loves, she loves, you love formal, nosotros amamos, we love, vosotros amáis, you all love, ellos, ellas, ustedes aman, they love feminine, you all love formal. For enseñar, which means to teach, you can say something like yo enseño, I teach, tú enseñas, you teach, él, ella, usted enseña, he teaches, she teaches, you formal teach, nosotros enseñamos, we teach, vosotros enseñáis, you all teach, ellos, ellas, ustedes enseñan, they teach feminine, you all teach formal. So these are the conjugations of verb amar and enseñar. I hope you have understood this. Now we will move on to the ER ending verbs. Now in Spanish we have ER ending verbs as well. Just like we have AR, we have ER. Now ER verb endings will have different set of endings as opposed to the AR verb endings. So there are slight changes. Yo will be the same, it is O. For tú we have ES. For él y usted we have E. For nosotros EMOS. For vosotros EIS with an accent on the E. Ellos, ellas, ustedes EN. So these are the endings. As opposed to the AR, it was a bit different. It was O, AS, A, AMOS, AIS and AN for AR ending verbs. But for ER verbs, it is very different. Only the yo is the same. So quickly copy this, okay, try to understand it, and then we will look at a verb which is beber, which means to drink. As you can see, beber, I've colored the ER in the green so it is visible clearly. Beber is an ER verb which means to drink. Now let's see how we can conjugate this verb. Any guesses how you can conjugate it? You will omit the ER and what will you do? Any guesses? Yes, you are right. So we will use the previous endings we just learned for ER verbs and we will use them to conjugate this verb beber, which means to drink. So for yo we will write bebo, right? We will omit the ER and write an O instead. As you can see, I have put in green and I have underlined the endings. So it's visible to us clearly. In order to conjugate this verb, I will write BEB. As soon as I see the ER, I will omit it and write an O instead for yo form. Yo bebo means I drink. Then we will write tu bebes. We will omit the ER and we will write ES. Tu bebes, you drink, informal. Then we will have él, ella, usted, bebe. He drinks, she drinks, you drink, formal. Nosotros bebemos. We drink. Vosotros bebéis. You all drink. Ellos, ellas, ustedes beben. They drink feminine, and you all drink formal. So this is the conjugation for ER verbs. As you can see, we have used the endings for ER in order to conjugate this verb. We will not use the AR endings to conjugate this verb because it is an ER verb. Now let's have a look at more verbs which are ER ending verbs. So these verbs also will be conjugated in the following way. ER verbs, okay? So let's go through this list and you may want to pause this video and conjugate all these verbs in your notebook for better understanding, right? Just let's have a look at these verbs. Leer means to read. Responder means to respond. Comprender means to understand. Comer means to eat. Vender means to sell. Creer, to believe. Correr, to run. Aprender, to learn. Esconder, to hide. Now, before you conjugate all these verbs in your notebook, if you have some confusion, we can look at this chart which shows the conjugation of verb comer, which is an ER verb and which means to eat. So again, I have written the endings of this whole verb, of this whole conjugation in green, and I have underlined it. And on the third column, I have put the translation of the whole conjugation in red. So let's have a look at the first conjugation. So I will write yo, como, right? So in order to conjugate this verb, I will do com. As soon as I see the ER, I omit the ER and I write an O. So it becomes I eat. Yo como, I eat. Tú comes. You eat. I will cut the ER and I will write ES. Él, ella, usted come. He eats, she eats, you eat, formal. Nosotros comemos. We eat. Vosotros coméis. You all eat. Ellos, ellas, ustedes comen. They eat. they eat feminine, and you all eat. This is the conjugation of verb commit. Please pause the video and do copy this conjugation neatly in your notebook and also conjugate the other ER ending verbs which I have given on the screen. Now we will learn how to conjugate the IR ending verbs. Now here in this chart you can see the endings for IR ending verbs in the second column of the table. Now they are a bit similar to the ER endings, but the differences are in the nosotros and vosotros. In the ER ending verbs, the situation is that the ER verbs in nosotros have EMOS and in vosotros they will have EIS. However, in IR ending verbs, they have IMOS and IES with an accent on the I. The rest is the same. So let's continue and let's see the other IR ending verb. So let's see a verb, which ends in an IR, for example. This verb is escribir, which means to write. Okay, IR ending verb, so it's been written, the ending has been written in green. Now let's see how we can conjugate this verb, looking at the endings which we just covered. Make sure you're copying everything neatly in your notebook so you can refer to them. Now you can use the previous endings of IR ending verbs and conjugate the verb escribir. Escribir means to write. So here again you can see that in the first column I have written all the subject pronouns. Second column, the conjugation of verb escribir has been written, and in the third column the translation of the conjugation of the verb escribir is written. So again, in order to conjugate this verb, what do? For your form, I will write ECCRIB. I will copy it as it is. As soon as I see the IR, I will omit the IR and I will write an O. So it becomes yo escribo, I write. Then for tu, the ending for IR verbs is ES. I will write ESCRIB. I will omit the IR and I will write an ES. So it becomes escribes. Tú escribes, you write. Él, ella, usted escribe, he writes, she writes, you write, formal. Nosotros escribimos, we write. Vosotros escribís, you all write. Ellos, ellas, ustedes escriben. They write masculine, they write feminine, and you all write formal. So this is the conjugation of IR verbs. Make sure you copy this chart properly in your notebook along with the translation. And after that, we will look at some other examples of IR ending verbs. So make sure you write this list as well. So let's go through all these verbs. Recibir means to receive. Permitir means to permit. Abrir, to open. Cubrir, to cover. Describir, to describe. Imprimir, to print. Prohibir, to prohibit. Aplaudir, to applaud. Descubrir, to discover. Decidir, to decide. Subir, to climb. Insistir, to insist. Now below is an example of how to conjugate IR ending verbs. Another example basically. So before you conjugate all these verbs which are IR ending in the screen, please have a look at another IR ending verb which has been conjugated here so that you can refer to it. So again, in order to conjugate the verb recibir, what do? I do yo form, then I do RECIB. As soon as I see the IR, I omit it and I write an O because this is the ending for IR for the first person. Yo recibo will mean I receive. Then you have tú recibes, you receive. Él, ella, usted recibe, he receives, she receives, you receive formal. Nosotros recibimos, we receive. Now, how do I do this? I do RECIB. As soon as I see the IR, I omit it and I write IMOS, right? Why do I do that? I do that because for the IR ending verbs for nosotros, the ending is IMOS. Nosotros recibimos would mean we receive. Vosotros recibís, you all receive. Ellos, ellas, ustedes reciben. They receive masculine, they receive feminine, you all receive formal. So these are the endings for IR ending verbs. This is another verb conjugation for you. Do not forget to, copy this in your notebook and learn these. Now here I have written some sentences with the verb hablar, which means to speak. So let's see what you need to do. In order to make sentences with the verb hablar, to speak, we take any subject pronoun like yo, tú, etc. and put the appropriate conjugation of hablar with it. We have been doing this for making sentences with other verbs also. For example, if we want to use yo, we will write hablo, as hablo is the correct conjugation with yo. If we choose to write a sentence with tú, we will write hablas, as this is the correct conjugation of hablar. Below are some sentences with hablar. So we will have a look at these sentences and we will see their translations. So yo hablo el español, I speak Spanish. The correct ending for yo for verb hablar, which is AR, is O. So we write yo hablo. For example, I cannot write yo hablas. It will be considered wrong. Tú hablas con tu madre. You speak with your mother. Number 3, él habla en la clase. He speaks in the class. Again, the correct conjugation of verb hablar for él will be habla. We write an A after omitting the AR. So that is the correct conjugation. Then we have ella habla con su madre. She speaks with her mother. Usted habla en el jardín. You speak in the garden. Nosotros hablamos en voz alta. We speak in a loud voice. So the correct ending for AR verbs is AMOS. Hablar is an AR verb, so that's why we write AMOS with nosotros. Vosotros habláis con amigos. You all speak with friends. Ellos hablan en la fiesta. They speak in the party. Ellas hablan con la profesora. They speak with the teacher. Ustedes hablan en español en la clase de español. You all speak in Spanish in the Spanish class. So this is, some sentences. You can create your similar sentences, with ER and IR ending verbs. And you can refer to some of this vocabulary which we have covered as of now. And then, you can learn more vocabulary like this. Anyway, this is it. And don't forget to subscribe my channel. And don't forget to like the video. And in the next video, I will be making another video on irregular verbs in the present tense. I will be also making videos on the preterite tense, imperfect tense. So make sure you subscribe to my channel so that you can get information on all the important, tenses and vocabulary, etc.